There's no reportable action from today's, but the last meeting we actually, in closed session, made a correction to the employment contract of the general manager. Not an amendment, but a correction. Opening the public session a little bit late. Sorry, everyone. Time for public comments. If anyone out there wants to make a comment, now's the time. Voluntary public roll call. Anyone out there want to let us know that you're there?
Yes, the Roseman News is here. John Joyce reporting.
Good evening, John.
Hi, Byron.
Anyone else?
Natalie Willis from the store.
One more time, please.
Natalie Willis from Hydra Store.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the consent calendar, CC1 of real check vouchers dated January 2nd through January 3rd. I mean through 15th, January 15th, and the payroll. I have a motion. Motion to approve. Motion, Director Webb. Second. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Minutes. Approve of the minutes from January 10th, MB1, with the correction that I had just referred to. I have a motion. Motion to approve. Motion, Director Webb. Second. Second. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. New business, NB1, disposal of surplus equipment. Not employees, right? Not in surplus employees, but surplus equipment. Okay.
Well, some of us are old and, getting to our end of our useful lives, but fortunately we're not disposing of that. Thank you, Mr. President. There's a list of 4 pieces of equipment that was included in the staff report. I'll just read the description, short description. There's a 2003 Ford F-250, 1994 International Model 4700 boom truck, a 2013 GMC Sierra 1500, and a 2017 Ford F-150. The district policy requires that the items come to you for approval after we get the book values from Finance Department. Book values for each one of these pieces of equipment is 0, so basically depreciated completely out. And then you're also required to, I have the same, you have a look on your face, Director Stewart?
How's this 0? Maybe you scrap stuff, yeah.
That's what the book value is.
Yeah.
The book value is 0. So, and then the board is also supposed to take action on the recommended disposal method. And the last column in the table in the staff report shows that 3 of the items would go to auction, which are the 3 vehicle trucks, and then 1 item would go to advertise for bid, because that's the boom truck, and they probably wouldn't be able to handle that at an auction. So we'll advertise that locally, probably in the Roseman News. So, ask for the board to approve the disposal of the surplus equipment, including the method of disposal.
Can I ask a question before we do that, sir? The boom truck, does it have, how can I ask just what makes sense? Maybe this is, remember we were talking about having to get another piece of equipment at some point? Does that truck have any value as a trade-in for us, or is it just beyond all that?
The motor's blown up in it.
Okay.
As far as the car rules, the science rules, it's all planning. The hydraulic leaks,
Grease fire. Okay, Okay, so that's what I'll
Need
be
to add any more to it.
Number two, do we have to auction those off, or could we donate? Does the high school still have its automotive program there? Or no? Yes, or we don't know.
I do not know.
I don't think they do. They don't have it like they do.
I don't think we give to public. We have to put it up for auction. My question would be, this auction place, have we looked at like online ones where we take a picture? There's probably a letter, a smaller, can't think of the term we use, cut they would get out of it. I know this place is a local one. I like to do local things, but we might get more bang for our buck if we do an online one.
Yeah, is it the same auction company we've used over the years? Yeah.
Yeah, and they both it online also.
But if we say you bought a public fund, if it's zero, is it a public fund if it's zero? If we donate at zero?
Good point. One of the things we have to get junk certificates. I mean, they've got our auction place is going to take care of all the paperwork and the junk certificates and getting all of that. So it's, if we do something different, we obviously would. I'd be asking.
Yeah, we're paying for their service, basically.
Staff.
I was just curious because if we don't have the program at the school, it's a new. But anyway, if we don't have an automotive program at the school,
yeah,
We're not approving what auction place to go with. We're just saying.
correct. So if you want us to look at, we certainly can look at those.
Any other questions? I have a motion for NB1, disposal of surplus equipment. Motion, Director Wallace. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB1. NB2, budget amendment. Parks funds closure.
I'm going to read the executive summary in the staff report. This is prepared by our finance director, Brad Rockbrand. Says this: during the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2017, the district began the process of surveying the community to determine how receptive it would be to a new funding mechanism to provide expanded parks and recreation services, and began to address the significant deficits the funds had accrued. In 2018, the district placed the Uniform Parcel Tax Measure A on the ballot for a special election in March. It failed by 78%, and the district returned the park to the county of Kern and divested itself of the powers of Parks and Recreation. For the last 5 years, the district has maintained the Parks and Recreation funds as a repository for the internal loans the sewer fund made them in 2015. However, as a result of the failed parcel tax and subsequent divestiture of the powers of Parks and Recreation, these funds no longer have a dedicated revenue source with which to pay the debt. As a result, a transfer of ad valorem tax is made each year from the general fund. This has resulted in a variety of banking and accounting transactions and unnecessary administrative functions. During the fiscal year ended this last year, June 30th, 2023, the Parks and Recreation funds were permanently closed with all accounting and financial reporting activities moved to the general fund. However, all related budget information has already been passed and entered into the financial accounting system and needs to be moved to the general fund to accurately match the accounting and financial reporting activities already moved to there. So the ask is, by motion, and recommendation also, by motion, discuss and approve the park fund's closure budget. So you basically be closing that budget item in your budget, and that is the park fund's
I would be doing away with needless paperwork on his end.
That's correct.
Basically. What about would then the payment of paying back that loan come from the general fund?
It comes from the general fund and the ad valorem taxes.
So it's just a matter of getting rid of the...
Yeah, just moving the funds from the general fund into the park fund and then into the sewer fund. Yeah.
I appreciate him wanting to not just make his job easier, but to clear up confusion.
Yes, absolutely.
Any questions? All right, we have a motion to close the Parks Fund.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Director Washington. Second. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Number 3, nomination for Special District Representative Kern local agency formation, LAFCO.
So LAFCO, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
LAFCO sent us a memo, actually, from the executive director back in January 4th. LAFCO is the legislative body that is in charge of oversight over the orderly arrangement and management of utility services. So, for example, when we take on a water district that perhaps we would consolidate with, it would go to LAFCO for approval. On this board is a member of the county. There's a member of a city. There's a member of a large city. So small cities and then the large city. There's 2 at-large members, so members of the public. And then there's 2 representatives from the special district. So the 2 current members and the alternate are all expiring. So there are going to be or 2 of them are retiring or moving away, and then one is expiring. So there's actually three representatives for special districts that need to be assigned to the board. I provided some information as to the responsibilities and related to how often you need to meet, when the meetings are held. They meet every 3rd Wednesday, the 2 dark months, July and November. The compensation is $100 for each meeting. The terms are 4 years, and they are asking for nominations from all the special districts. There's something like 68 different special districts in the county. I don't know when the last time that East Kern was represented, but there are currently the expiring board members. None of them are from East Kern. So I'm bringing it for your consideration. If you guys want to nominate somebody from the board, they also could be an officer of your staff that could also serve. But if it's your pleasure, we could fill out the application. Only 1 nomination is requested. But if it's your pleasure, we could fill out a nomination and send it in.
What's the date on that?
Has to be done by February 9th.
Where do they meet at?
They meet in the board chambers of in Bakersfield, County Administrative Office.
I already asked our general manager if he would love to serve on there. I thought that would be a great idea. And he said he would not love to serve on there. But I was going to ask him this, and I never did. I forgot about it. I would say that it would be good for us to give him the power to look and think who he might think would be a good representative from the county, the people he's familiar with in the county. That's kind of my recommendation.
Oh, as far as
I'm still laying it back on you.
Oh,
if you thought of somebody, very similar to the nominating committee for Aqua.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a few people in mind that I think would be great at it. Some of my colleagues. Yeah.
Could I make a thought or suggestion on it? You said that to your knowledge, we haven't had East Kern representative.
Correct.
I know her schedule is packed with a lot of stuff. I think Sherry, we should give her some serious consideration because she's very astute. She's known probably a little bit more than we think around us here. And if it's a 4-year thing, I think that could only help us. I don't know how busy she is in that 1 day a week, a month. I don't know how that impacts her calendar.
Well, she's here till 6 o'clock at night, right? Every day. And she's pretty busy.
Yeah, I will. If that's the recommendation that none of the board members are interested in a nomination, Sherry and I will talk it over. I suspect, just so you know, I suspect that we will not nominate one of our probably somebody from our staff, just because there is a lot to do.
Yeah.
But thank you for that little comment.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, the other part too, let's just take a chance, maybe, or we won't have a meeting before that's due. Because
No, we won't.
Because there's a chance we could have someone, because I remember that LAPCO, they made a comment about roads many years ago that we weren't mature enough to be a city. When I was sitting over there on the mat, I remember that, and that's a bad way to talk about communities. And maybe if we have someone there looking in on it, but I know scheduling for a lot of people, that's it too.
Well, do we want to leave it this way then? If you come up with someone that you have our power to contact that person and see if they're interested in doing it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think John would be good.
All right. Well, there is no motion there other than, do we need to get a motion to give him the power to make the recommendation for us?
I would think so.
We need a motion?
Yeah, it would be nice for the director if you could do that.
It would read to give the general manager the power to make a nomination for this board, representing this board on LAPCO. I have a motion. I have somebody who would accept that motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Director Washington makes the motion. Second, Director Wallace. All in favor say aye. Aye. Sign. Motion carried. Director's report, comments, and future agenda items. Tell us about Florida.
Yeah, I don't really have anything tonight, but to tell you a little bit about Florida, it appears every year there's something on the radar that pops up. It's lead one year, asbestos the next, or what have you. It appears in Florida it's plastics and bottled water. So I've been kind of following that to see how that pans out. But I don't have anything tonight.
All right. Yeah. Director Wallace.
Yes, you started.
Raise your voice.
Yeah. In the essence of saying my voice, I don't have anything tonight.
And Director Webb.
I'm good, sure. Thank you.
I was at the AVAC meeting last night, and there was a very kind of detailed presentation of the tunnels. The people from, I guess, Sacramento were there, and they did a presentation about the tunnel. And it's going to be 45. They're still moving forward with it. It's a single tunnel now, 45 miles underground, about 150 feet underground. And it was very interesting. Van Dam, he asked them the question, will there be any turnouts on that 45-mile section for farmers? And they said, nope. But anyway, as long as we keep talking about it, maybe it's going to happen sometime. But what they brought up was they're redoing what it's really going to cost, and it just keeps going up and up and up.
They're going 2030.
Yeah, but it was interesting. And the general manager brought up that there's talk. He didn't want to make too big a deal out of it. If you know, a few years back we started talking about atmospheric rivers. And I never heard about it until I went to something and heard about this atmospheric rivers. And that's the rivers out there in the atmosphere. And when they show up, we get lots of rain. And there's a prediction that there are atmospheric rivers out there that may be getting here in February and March. So we may have a good wet year, and he expects that the allocation will probably go up, he hopes. So we're not looking at a dry year. Hopefully we're looking at not as bad and not as wet as in the past, but another one.
General Manager, is that project in Willow Springs still going?
Which one?
Where they're digging underground?
You're talking about the your store project? We can ask Ms. Willis on the line.
Yeah.
I don't believe it is.
They mentioned it's Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, Natalie, is there anything? If you're still on the line, is there anything to disclose?
I do not believe so. I think that in March, once Kurt Hildebrand comes and gives the general update, it'll clarify any confusion about that.
Okay, thank you.
And when
So in March, Hydrostore is going to come in and provide a presentation.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Natalie. All right, moving on to general counsel update. John.
Nothing for you tonight, folks.
Thank you, sir. General manager update. Domingo.
I will try to make this short. I apologize. We got an update on the SSMP. The staff is expecting the draft SSMP next week to begin kind of a test, take it for a test drive on how the document will function under various maintenance and response scenarios. Feedback will inform the final document, which will be brought to the board for approval thereafter. The tentative schedule is April 2024 for board approval, so we're expecting that document next week. Budget, we will be beginning to evaluate departmental and capital budget needs for the new fiscal year in a more proactive approach to upcoming facility needs. This will provide an opportunity for the budget committee to meet ahead of the annual budget proceedings. So those of you that are on the budget committee look forward to being an invite here probably sometime in if not late February, probably early March. The public safety power shutoff. Has anybody heard of that? PSPS? You don't get them here, probably. But anyway, Edison invited or sent out an invite to Rosen's staff to participate in the planning exercise. I attended that planning webinar this morning, or no, excuse me, it was yesterday, for a tabletop exercise where I live in Hart Flat. We get them all the time. And that is basically, it's an anticipation of trying to avoid wildfires with wind events that maybe have some interaction with some trees, since you don't really have that situation out here. There isn't, you're probably not affected by them. But it was interesting to hear kind of their protocol and how they are going to run the exercise and then involve first responders and EOCs and all of that stuff and getting that information during the whole exercise, because our outages affect us pretty severely at times here as far as our facilities. I know we have standby power in a lot of cases, but it seems, especially at the wastewater plant right now, it seems that every time we have a power outage, it really affects us. We really have problems getting the plant up and running again. Usually takes someone having to come out and chase things down. So it would be nice to know the kind of the protocols of what they do to on how they first of all establish where they're going to have to do a forced shutoff, and then also how they recover and what they do to recover. In other words, how they inform the public and how they recover. So it was very interesting. It's pretty elaborate. There's a lot of different agencies involved. So just wanted to report out on that. The AD Water Master, I virtually attended the board meeting this morning. You know, we have a seat on the advisory committee, but I wanted to sit on the first AD Water Master meeting now that AVEC is now the interim administrator, now that Hallmark is no longer in place. One of the upcoming items that we need to be aware of, and I know John probably is on top of this, but they were talking about how well meters are not, or the meters that they have on wells are not necessarily certified and up to date, and that they're looking at a program to penalize those that are not submitting certifications. So something that we need to be aware of, that they're coming up with a program that is going to penalize those that don't follow. We submit those annually, don't we? Quarterly, the certification.
Well, the certifications are annually, but we prefer to by them quarterly.
The data.
The data, yeah.
The wastewater plant meter?
Water treatment plant.
Not also? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I figured he was on top of that, but I just want to make sure that they were really going to go after some folks. And then finally, so there's some water availability planning that we've been looking at that John has pulled some information together, provided to me. We have some questions as to, where we're at now that we're starting to see the benefits of the wastewater plant percolation and storage, waters that we have stored. We're tabulating the current inventory. John has done that. We need to kind of project out how that's going to look over time. We'll use this information for growth planning, which will inform the budget and future connection and rate studies, because this is a real asset that really hasn't really been figured out yet. I think there was a lot of great effort to get kind of when the adjudication took place, to get the and the board and your previous general managers, several of them, previous general managers, did a great job of getting the board or the district on track to secure its future water needs, and you're in really great shape. I'll just leave it at that for now. I have a little bit more to share later on, but just want to let you know we were working on that effort. And other than that, that's all I have.
Maybe it would be good to have a water committee sit in with some of the planning that you're doing.
Okay. Sounds good.
I had a question. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. My wife knows something, but she doesn't. I'm drawing a blank. I had a comment, but I'm drawing a blank. Any questions for the general manager? All right. If it comes back, I'll do it with the director of administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I just want to let the board know that beginning next month of February, 2 fees that are associated with severely delinquent accounts will again be in effect. A $20 door hanger fee, notifying the customer they will face a service disconnection for non-payment in 10 business days. So we do that as a big reminder to folks today, so they don't get shut off. And then the other fee that will resume is a $45 service disconnection fee that's charged to the accounts that are shut off for non-payment. These 2 fees were originally approved by the board in 2015, so they are not new fees. I'm going to bring that to everybody's attention in case you were asked about this. Why are you guys charging this? It was by ordinance 2015-1 in December of 2015. They were originally suspended with the Water Shutoff Protection Act during the pandemic. So it was mandated, so that's why we stopped charging them. When we didn't do penalties, we didn't do shutoffs because of that. And so in order to help folks, we've eased back into the shutoffs as of last year, and we resumed the penalties. But this is the final phase of the fees for the operation, for the delinquent accounts. And regarding the LEWAP program, the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program, we've received 3 additional payments this month that total $3,075. So folks are really responding to our efforts to get the word out and help them. So I was very pleased to see that. Kern County Elections Division has reached out to the district. They are seeking additional days for the use of the boardroom as a polling site. So in addition to the presidential primary on March 5th, and the general election on November 5th, they're asking for use of the boardroom for a special election on March 19th and a possible runoff election on May 21st. So those will be 2 additional days that they will be here, or possibly on the 21st, because that's a possible runoff. And we've notified them that these dates are available. And just another reminder, the blood drive will take place tomorrow, noon to 6 p.m. We are 1 donor short of our goal of 45. We've had 40.
Sorry.
Somebody had to back out.
I had to back out.
Not to show that. It's from noon to 6.
Sign me up.
Okay.
I'll get off work at 4 so I can be here after that.
Okay.
If someone gets their water rail turned off because of non-payment, when they get it turned back on, do they have to put up a deposit?
If they don't have one, yeah, there's some that don't. Most customers do.
They have a deposit already?
They have a deposit on site, so that's required. But they will now be paying, in addition to their past fee bill, they'll have to pay that $45 disconnect fee. And that covers their labor, and then those folks out to do that. So But I just want to just add that the process that we have in place right now, by the time we send out the notices, we don't start sending out notices so that customer is 61 days past due. So they're severely delinquent by the time they get shut off. And we allow that extra time, and I think that does help our customers. So by the time we send out notices, we start with over 100, like almost 200 notices. So by the time the door hangers go out, it's maybe around 100. By the time they have shut off, it's under 20, maybe 12.
You don't shut it off on weekends?
No, we don't shut off on Thursdays, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And that's my report.
Thank you so much. Any questions? I already asked them. Okay. All right. I need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, good job. John thought he was going to get out.
John, do you hear me?
John, by the way,
I said something and they just all, no.
thank you for that from the sewer committee folks. The sewer committee, we had a sewer committee meeting the other day. There's some information that John provided about the camera truck. Thank you very much. I know you guys are just still working with the tweaks on it, but that's a good start to have something in hand with the information that's available.
That's what that line is, that's still, now that we've been had that truck for a little while, for a month and a half worth of, not full month worth of camera, but we've had a camera working for the last month and a half. And the things that we're seeing in the sewer system, although we're not having problems, it doesn't mean we don't have problems.
And you can see the cracks in those ones.
Yeah.
John, I got a question. Having our buddy in the bugs.
The bug?
Yeah.
Well, there's many manholes, they open up and treat.
No, you just give the report here. Oh, you're talking about it's about Ryan?
Yeah.
I've relieved him of that, of having to come in and report to you. If you want him to come and report, I'd certainly invite him, but he's pretty busy up there.
John's fine.
But good information you supplied us, John. Thank you. Thank you.
Back to the camera. How far does that camera travel in an hour's time?
Oh, I'm not sure about it. It's quite lengthy because it doesn't go real fast, but it has 800 feet of line that it can go. And when you see a problem, you stop and narrate the problem, and then you move forward and you see another problem, narrate it. Water level change, you stop and narrate it. So it's quite a lengthy process.
Can the board members go and look at that?
Absolutely.
Before I was a board member, I got to look at it one time. It was on my street in church. It's amazing. Every one of them laterals were dumped in the main sewer line. I mean, no trees for miles in the Ambrose. Industrial standard is 30 feet a minute. 30 feet a minute, that's what you want to go. If you go faster, they call it the orange blur. You can see easy flag. Are we supposed to have a tour to water at the treatment plant? You want a tour of the wastewater plant? I thought we were going to do that when it got running. Maybe I was dreaming. Anytime you want to, just let me know. Any one of you, if you're interested in a tour, just let me know. I'll let John know.
I think what we talked about was kind of opening it up to the public for a tour, but we didn't want to do that until everything was pretty much settled in.
It's pretty much settled in. Let me talk to Ryan about that.
And if we did that tour, the whole point of it would be to let them know how much credit we are getting to be able to pump water because of the reclamation plant. And of course, every acre foot of water credit that we get is paying for that sewer treatment plant renovation. Any questions for John? Thank you, John. Thanks, John. All right. Now I will move on to adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion made by Director Stewart, second by Director West. All in favor say aye. Aye. Same motion. Any opposed? We are adjourned at 7:01.
Midnight, you're right. Hey, Chuck.